I would like to mention to you and make a few comments about the very historic day that this day is, the 4th of August, 2010. There's only one other day I have been more sad and upset about living here in our state. And several years ago, in May of 2008, when our 5 state Supreme Court justices lost their minds, abandoned all right reason, and invented a right to perverted love and said it was in the California State Constitution. Today, on the 4th of August 2010, a federal district judge named Von Walker struck down Proposition 8, saying, in fact, that California, and by implication 44 other states in our union, has foisted an unjust and irrational attack upon civil rights by forbidding gay marriage. This was not a shock by any means. Gay marriage has only succeeded in this nation through judicial activism. The American people are less morally corrupt and insane than are the judges of our land. And this was a very clear refutation of the people's will, which was expressed in 2008. I want to just read you a few words from this decision. Chief U.S. District Judge Von Walker wrote that Proposition 8, quote, fails to advance any rational basis in singling out gay men and lesbians for denial of a marriage license. The fundamental argument of the church's opponents on this issue is that this is a matter of love. And who are we as Christians to say that someone can't love? Who are we to say that two people can't love each other and deny them having a marriage license? The proponents of the defense of Proposition 8 have been exceedingly hampered in defending civilized marriage, which is the only thing the human race in any culture, in every period of human history, has known. The defenders of Proposition 8, the defenders of marriage, have been very hampered, and they've been hampered for this reason, that ever since the year 2002, in a Supreme Court ruling that time called Lawrence versus Texas, all moral arguments, appeal to fundamental morality, have been stricken from the law. When the U.S. Supreme Court upheld their opposition to sodomy laws, Justice Antonin Scalia said, "This is the death of all morality legislation in America." And I think he was right. If we can no longer appeal to human moral sense, if that's not rational, if the 10 Commandments are not rational, and evidently Chief U.S. District Judge Von Walker doesn't think that there's any rational basis for traditional marriage, then we're very hampered in making an argument. And we'll see consistently the grossest forms of immorality foisted upon our nation in the name of legality. And that's what we see now. If you can't talk about God and you can't talk about morality, you are very hampered. I still think it can be done, and it has been done in 45 states, to make a good argument for traditional marriage. And hopefully now, while it will go to Federal District Court 9 and probably receive the same ruling, it can then be appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court. Whether it will succeed in the U.S. Supreme Court is a big question in my mind. But I want you to know very clearly where the Orthodox Church stands. because we stand on this issue where we have always stood. And we will never change. And we will never stop loving God by changing the faith. Nor will we stop loving people by telling them lies about perversion and calling it normal. This is not kindness. This is cruelty of the highest degree to tell someone who's practicing perversion and embracing same-sex erotic love, to say that that's love and not lust, is a great act of hatred. And the church will never do it. It's in fact to put somebody's feet in cement, to take something that's reverent and august like marriage, and to give that title to people who are practicing perversion is the greatest sin. And the church will never countenance it. And we'll never use that language. And it doesn't matter what they tell us to do. It doesn't matter if we lose our tax exemption. We could care less. We will love God and we will love people, which means we will speak the truth in love about this issue. And when someone says to you it's about love, say exactly right. First, it's about loving God and keeping His commandments. And no one and no nation can love God and reject and nullify His commandments. That's number one. And it's also about loving people. And to take people who are falling into unnatural perversion and to say that that's love, and that the affection between two people who are burning with unnatural desires is love, is not love. That is a very unloving thing to do. There are plenty of old perverted men who love little boys. Are we going to start blessing that love too? Who are we to say people can't love? We acknowledge it. But there's godly love and there's perverted loves. And homosexual love is an unnatural, perverted love. And to give it the name of marriage is a great disgrace, a shame. Really, I cover my eyes. This decision is the Roe versus Wade of the issue of homosexuality. We'll go to the Supreme Court, and this will determine the discourse in our land. God help us to be faithful and visit us all with repentance. But please, hold your faith, articulate it well, and engage. Please engage. This kind of nonsense is happening because we've been sitting on our duffs, letting our nation go to hell in a handbasket. In the early church, when the church encountered this type of perversion in Greco-Roman society, what did the church say? What did the fathers say? I want to first affirm that the fathers never encountered this. This is perversion unheard of in the history of the human race. No culture has ever suggested that same-sex attraction, eroticism, and love can be called marriage.